How's it going? Welcome back to Loft 801. My name is Diego, and today I'm going to be reviewing my favorite movie of 2022. Yeah, you guessed it, The Northman. It's a Viking saga following the legend of Amleth and was directed by Robert Eggers, who also directed The Witch and The Lighthouse. If you've seen those movies, then you might have an idea of the direction and tone of The Northman. Anyways, before I hop into my review, please take a second to like and subscribe and hit the notification bell. It's really appreciated. Also, this review will contain spoilers, so continue at your own risk. And if there's something you want to see reviewed, don't forget to leave a comment and let me know, and I'll get to it slowly but surely. Which, speaking of, I've been gone for a minute, and that's because I am back in school. I'm working on my doctorate program, hoping to finish by June of this year. I will keep you guys posted, so wish me luck. All right, all of that said, let's hop in. If you don't know who Amleth is, that is okay. Let's get you caught up. Basically, Amleth was a Viking prince who set out on a quest to avenge the murder of his father. If that sounds familiar, it's because it is. There are many movies and artistic mediums inspired by this story, such as Shakespeare's Hamlet and Disney's The Lion King. Without going into too much detail, the plot goes, King Arvandel returns home to be with his wife Gudrun and his heir Amleth. Arvandel is killed by his brother Fjolnir, and Amleth escapes traumatized. Years later, we see a grown-up, and I mean a grown-up Amleth, with a band of Viking berserkers. After speaking with a seer, Bjork, Amleth finds out that his uncle now lives as a sheep farmer in Iceland, so he pays a visit to his dear old uncle, posing as a slave. Amleth is in this for the long run. He wants his uncle to suffer the way he suffered. With the help of another slave named Olga, they pick off guards one by one over time, spreading fear throughout the farm. I failed to mention it earlier, but Gudrun is still alive and married to Fjolnir. Eventually, Amleth reveals himself to her, but unfortunately for him, things don't go as planned. Let's just say Gudrun's marriage with Arvandel is not what it seemed. Like I said, I don't want to spoil too much, but the film culminates in an epic showdown between Amleth and Fjolnir. Now that you've got the plot, let's talk about what I loved. As you know, I am a whore for medieval movies. Despite this, I wasn't expecting much from this movie, and holy shit, am I glad my expectations were subverted. For starters, the plot was absolutely stellar. I love a good revenge story. John Wick, baby. What made this plot so unique, though, is the fact that it wasn't rushed. It was carefully nurtured and built up. Now, I gotta be careful here because not every lengthy movie is a good movie. In fact, many aren't. However, The Northman stands out because the characters are given deep backstories and their motivations and intentions are abundantly clear. As a viewer, you understand why Fjolnir took his brother's throne. You understand why Amleth wants revenge. You understand why Olga helps him out. There are no MacGuffins. Nothing feels forced. It all feels natural, which leads into another thing I loved about this movie. I genuinely felt like I was watching a historical saga unfolding. The environment, rain, snow, and cold felt piercing. The landscape, production design, violence, and slavery all feel grittily realistic. It can be hard to watch, but the movie doesn't shy away from it. It also doesn't shy from the Norse mythology either, and it's incredible. The pagan ceremonies, berserker rituals, sorcery, mysticism, Draugr, hallucinogens, Christianity, Odin, ravens, seers, Valkyries, Natalakir, Holmgang, and Valhalla. I was impressed when I saw this movie in May of last year, and I'm still impressed. Equally impressive are the cast and their performances. Alexander Skarsgård is an absolute unit, a beast. Anya Taylor-Joy and Nicole Kidman are cunning and conniving like foxes. Claes Bang is a stoic and remorseful man. Willem Dafoe is an outlandish fool. This cast did not let me down at all. On top of all of that, the cinematography is breathtakingly beautiful, but not quite in the way that you would imagine. It is viscerally dreary. I think I used that word correctly. Visceral. Anyways, when paired with the soundtrack, I was flooded with emotion. Amusement, anger, anxiety, awe, craving, excitement, disgust, horror, interest, relief, surprise, and satisfaction. There's just something about the Viking music that had me sitting at the edge of my seat, savoring everything in the film. All right, I think I've rambled on long enough about the things I loved in this movie, so let's move on to things I didn't. Love. Okay. There wasn't a single thing about this movie that I did not love. I walked out of the theater feeling like I was on cloud 9. I saw this movie again last night for the upteenth time, and again, I couldn't find anything that I didn't like. That said, I did some digging to find some complaints that other viewers had. At some points, Amleth kinda looked awkward fighting instead of just fully bad. He's got really bad posture. It is too gory. Didn't appreciate the nudity. It looked cold. It's predictable. It's too dark. Sexless. Not enough Anya Taylor-Joy. It's too slow. Alright, now I didn't find any of these things to negatively impact my viewing experience. In fact, I felt like some of these things enhanced the movie. However, at the very least, I can agree he does have bad posture. Now, the reason I brought these comments up is because they are things to be mindful of when watching. If you don't like movies that are dark, gritty, and violent, then skip this one. Lastly, just for fun, here's one more comment that I really loved. Men will literally avenge their father, save their mother, and kill Fjolnir before going to therapy. Yes, we will. Overall, I was mesmerized by this film. I find it unfortunate that this video was a box office flop, but I am more than happy that it turned a profit with video on demand. The Northman is a very dark and gritty adaptation of Amleth. It is unapologetic in the way it tells his story, and I love that about it. I loved seeing the paganism, slavery, violence, and Norse mythology because they made the film feel authentic. Nothing ever felt out of place. The acting, cinematography, environment, production design, and the soundtrack blended together masterfully and created not only my favorite movie of 2022, but one of my favorite films of all time. It is definitely within my top 3 movies, maybe even top 2. I know our rating scale goes from 0 to 10, but this movie is an 11 to me. If you're like me and you love medieval settings, grittiness, mythology, and linear storytelling, then I highly recommend you watch The Northman. Again, however, if you don't like bloody movies or lengthy films, then skip this one. The Northman is a brutally epic saga, a masterpiece that stands out in our modern cinema. Thank you for listening to my review of The Northman. If you enjoyed the content, don't forget to leave a like and hit subscribe. If you agree or disagree with me, let me know in the comments. I'd love to read what you have to say. And if there's something that you want reviewed, let me know so I can get to it. As a reminder, I am in school, so I will try my best to get these videos out every week, but if there is a gap, I apologize in advance. Lastly, if you want to see some more from me, you can check out my vlogs linked up above or my podcast, Friends with Benefits. My name is Diego, and I'll see you next time.